switching gears now, I guess, to the last story, which I've got. And this is, yes, I am talking about a token that I don't generally talk about in my normal everyday speech. But so Aave's token has rocketed 97% since an upgrade that strengthened its DeFi capabilities. And what I found super interesting about this story is we have here a token, a DeFi token that is going up, not just because somebody memed it or because there's some kind of, external buzz or something weird. It's actually going up because of an improvement in the protocol and people recognizing value from that. And I like those kinds of stories when we're talking about number go up. So proposed initially in November of 2021, Aave version 3 introduced cross-chain portals, isolated markets, and a high efficiency mode and other features for better user experience. And so portals allow users to swap assets from any blockchain which Aave is deployed. They can create A tokens, which represent deposits into Aave and one chain on one chain and then burn them on another. So there's trading strategies. It's got a better user experience and people are responding to that. So it went up to a 24-hour high of $241.92 according to CoinDesk data. And it's now sitting around $223. But when the Aave upgrade went live, it was only at $122. So that's quite an increase since the upgrade. So yeah, that is all of my excitement about Aave. Yay for them. Zach, you want to add anything to that?
Sure. I mean, Aave is like the market leader. They're neck and neck right now with Anchor, which is like a Terra-based protocol. But when it comes to DeFi lending, Aave is a big player, and they exist on multiple chains. They sort of have this vision for like cross-chain DeFi, and this stuff makes me excited because like, what if DeFi actually worked and was like accessible and usable to to most people? Right now, it's like a very small niche thing that like is hard to grok for most folks. But it's so cool. It's so powerful, right? These are things that I think could be really valuable to people in the real world. It's just at present, like the way that, DeFi users interact with this stuff is rather complex and rather difficult. And I think it is complex, difficult, experimental. We're prone to exploits. We're seeing all these things, but the end goal, I think, the light at the end of the tunnel is very, very exciting for what financial services on the internet can be in an internet native way, in a more decentralized fashion than what we see in the present world. So if this is a move toward cross-chain DeFi, then that's great. If that's what the excitement is about, then great. There could be some crazy, I don't know, token meme going on on Aave Twitter. I don't know. But to see additional functionality allegedly be the root of this pump is something that I think is exciting to see, just given how exciting DeFi can be in some ideal world. But Adam, I'll toss it down to you.
Yeah, I think that you're characterizing it in some ideal world pretty much falls into kind of my opinion of the things too. Like crypto is so notorious for being kind of like a gambler's, paradise, right? Like where even when you're talking about tokens that have mostly validated use cases like Ethereum, well, how much of the actual, price is driven by speculation about future use? How much of Bitcoin is driven by speculation about future use? And then you go down the list of tokens and it's like, okay, well, and these are like 90%. This is like 99%. It's just like the whole thing has for a very long time to me felt more like it's about speculation than really it is about anything else. So my kind of counter take to yours, Christy, would be that maybe it's not the actual utility that is driving the price. Maybe it's speculation about the future utility that this suggests or that may be possible now that actually winds up driving the price when it comes to this type of stuff. Personally, I've, again, avoided DeFi pretty comprehensively over the course of the last number of years, just because it is so complex and it just all feels like a casino to me. But it's always interesting when we get these stories and speculating on why did number go up. Indeed, it is somewhat nice that it's not driven by a meme, but at the same time, when I look at all of this stuff, even Bitcoin, even Ethereum, like I said, I still see mostly speculation, and so it's hard for me to get too excited about it. do you think, Jen?
Well, Adam, off the back of your point, I have a question for you, Christy. So we're talking about added features and growing trust, and this is why investors are kind of flocking to this. But I think that's existing investors, right? And we talk about DeFi being useful for, Zach said, most people. And I think most people watching this are like, where do I get started? This is really confusing. It's really confusing for people who have been in the space for a long time. Where would you start, Christy?
That's a really good question because, like Adam, I have pretty much stayed far away from a lot of DeFi. In fact, it was funny. A couple of weeks ago, I went to buy some Ether just so that I could, get going on some of these platforms. And yeah, my bank froze my account. So that was all fun times. Every time I try to buy myself like, $100 worth of Ether, I end up having to jump through a million hoops to be able to use my bank card again. But who actually has done more of this, I think, than any of us is Zach. So Zach, where did you start, and where would you start on all of this?
I mean, I think there's lots of silly experiments that are always good to do. And I think, honestly, like Pool Together is where I often point people, right? Pool Together is this concept of a lossless lottery, right? Where you deposit assets into a lossless lottery. One person wins all of the accrued interest on those deposits. And if you don't win, you just get to keep your money in this pool, right? So there's a no loss concept that is built into this thing. But it is good practice in being like, okay, I have $100 in Ether, $100 in USDC. Let me see what it feels like to commit something to a protocol and potentially, earn some nominal yield on it, rather than just letting it sit in my exchange account and gather dust. You see the upside, and you also see the downside. You realize that contributing $100 to this protocol is going to cost me $20 in gas fees, and you're like, wait a minute, I don't think I'm going to get out ahead on this one. Great way to learn. And that's a really important lesson to understand when you're experimenting with Web3, right? Everyone out here is saying Web3 this, Web3 that. Experiment across these different chains, see what the benefits are, see what the downsides are, and I think you might have a more, informed opinion on what's going on these chains, I should say.